Good morning, readers. Welcome back to our 4th week of quarantine literacy. I can't believe that we have spent so many days together. I'm really looking forward to continuing to spend time with you guys. So let's see. Our first week, we really looked at fear and bravery. And then the second week, we looked at friendship. Last week, we looked at times when life feels really unfair and how to find gratitude during those times. And this week, we're going to look at overcoming obstacles and persevering. Can you say perseverance? Perseverance. Yes, you guys. That is a word that I taught my daughter when she was like 2 years old. And we'd be walking down the street in Brooklyn and she'd be like, I'm tired. And I'd be like, you got to keep walking. And she'd be like, I don't want to persevere. And everyone would be like, how does she know that word? She's teeny tiny. Well, the reason she knew that word is because I think it's incredibly important for people to persevere or to keep trying, to keep doing things even when they're hard, to not give up when you fall down, but to get back up and try it again. So we're going to really look at that word, perseverance, and also that idea of just overcoming obstacles and hard times. Our first book in that series is a book that you probably have read before. It's a very old book. It's a lovely book. It's called Corduroy, and this is by Don Freeman. And it's about a little bear who's lost his button. Corduroy, Story and Pictures by Don Freeman. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. There he is, with a bunny and a doll and a clown and a giraffe, and he's just waiting for someone special to come along and take him home. He's just like all the other stuffed animals. He just wants a home where he's loved and cared for. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." So there's the little girl who wants Corduroy. And there's her mother saying, I don't think today's the day, my dove, right? I've already bought all the things I was planning to buy today, and I haven't got the money for the bear today. Or maybe she just doesn't feel like her daughter needs a bear, right? She's like, well, you have enough toys, maybe. Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "Well, I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." Wow. Corduroy's like, oh, is that why no one's buying me? I've got this missing button on my shoulder? I'll take care of that. Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. So there he is, looking for his button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain? He wondered. I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. So he's like, whoa, this is an adventure. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was a most amazing sight. Do you think it's going to be his button, or does he see something else? Let's find out. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows and rows and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." He is excited. He wandered around admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." And up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button!" he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But, like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. Have you ever seen a mattress that has buttons like this? They're tied really tight down on the mattress. They're not really buttons. They're just sort of like these round things that keep the mattress really taut, really tight. I'm also making a connection to a book, a different book. Do you remember Frog and Toad, the lost button story? This story, because it's about a button, is making me think of that story. I'm drawing a connection between two books. I love that when one story reminds me of another one. He yanked and pulled with both paws until, pop, off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Oh no, he's making quite a bit of noise, you guys. Do you think someone's going to hear him? Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going about his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. Here he comes with a flashlight. "Now, who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the covers. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. So now he's back where he began. How do you think Corduroy's feeling right now? He went searching for his button unsuccessfully. He made a racket and then was taken back down to the toy department. How do you think he might be feeling? Think he's feeling sad or frustrated? Yeah, I kind of think so too. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning. And there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he'd seen only the day before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." Look at that, you guys. Lisa is buying Corduroy with her own money that she saved up. Good job, Lisa. "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the sales lady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She doesn't even need a box. She just is so in love with this bear already. She just wants to hold him in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight to her own room. Now she has her own room already. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I know I've always wanted a home." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." What a sweet girl. She says, I like you just the way you are, but I think you'll be a little more comfortable if we sew that button on for you. You must be a friend, said Corduroy. I've always wanted a friend. Me too, said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. That could have been a lovely book for our friendship series as well, couldn't it? Two friends who really accept each other for who they are and help each other out. But I want to talk a little bit about that word perseverance and overcoming obstacles. Sometimes in life, it looks like things are hopeless, right? You've lost a button, no one's going to buy you at the department store. You're going to be stuck on a shelf forever, like our poor friend Corduroy. But if we persevere and we try, and we get up and we get off our shelf and go looking for a button, and we just hold out hope and faith that someday something good will come, we're all going to find our Lisas in the world, right? Our wonderful helpers, people who accept us for who we are, people who help us out. And I think it's just a good metaphor for life in general, that you can't give up, right? You can't give up hope. You can't give up even when things seem impossible. That if you just keep on trying and you persevere, that eventually you will get what you need in life. And hopefully you'll even get what you want out of life. So that's our story for today, and we will continue tomorrow with this idea of overcoming obstacles and persevering in the face of difficult times. Okay, my friends, I hope that you are reading a lot, and I hope that you are being kind to yourself and being kind to those around you. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.